different. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm a watercolor and mixed media artist. I think watercolors are the most magical of all media. And of course I was interrupted because it is the summer holidays and yeah, there are kids at any given moment, but it's all good. So here I am just setting up my supplies. I didn't know what I was going to paint and I just grabbed my go-to, which are my pastels, of course my watercolors, and I highly recommend doing what I just did at the beginning of your session or a few minutes before. If you live in a very dry climate, then you might want to do this as you sit down, because we have, or at least in the winter, our house is very dry because of the heating. And I, sprayed my watercolor palette, would walk away for half an hour, come back, it was dry again. So it all depends on the humidity, of course. And here are some of my pencils. I decided to try something different. Every time I look through my logbook, I think to myself how much I love these blobs of watercolor. And I haven't painted a lot of like abstracts. I mean, all of my paintings are very it's not realistic in any way. They're very kind of expressive, let's say. But usually you can say, this is a flower, this is a beach scene, this is whatever. And I really just love the way that watercolor looks. I love mixing colors and kind of finding my perfect shades. Yeah, that green is a little bit on the garish side, but when it dries, you can see the granulation of the cobalt teal. And so we are still friends. So I'm all about this. This is what makes me happy. And it's not deep. It's not profound. It's just what makes me really happy. And especially the use of granulating watercolors and creating mixtures that are not just like one, flat color. So just like color separation and granulation, all those things are really magic to me. And that's what I decided to do here. And I think this might be something, or this is probably something I really want to explore, but it needs to happen on a bigger scale. I need like bigger brushes, and I really think that I would enjoy really focusing on kind of the alchemy of mixing those perfect shades, finding those perfect combinations of separating colors, and probably adding also a granulation medium. I've mentioned that before. Winsor & Newton make a good one. I don't like the Schmincke one, but the Winsor & Newton one is good, and I think it could be really fun to explore it and just create very, I guess, simple to look at, or simple, that there's not a lot of lines or objects or anything, but the work kind of that goes into it would be in mixing the colors, because that really makes me happy. I wish I could paint with, I wish canvas gave me the same results as watercolor paper, because it is really nice to paint on canvas, but at least, you don't have to like frame it. With watercolor paper, you kind of have to work a bit harder to frame it so that it's nicely protected. So that's kind of one of the challenges. But yeah, maybe that is also something worth exploring, if there is a way that I can prep a canvas and get a look that I like. I'm not a fan of watercolor mediums. I haven't had a good experience with them. Not that they're not a good product, but it's just, I don't think when you put watercolors on top of them, it looks nothing like watercolor paper. And so, yeah, that might be where I have to put in the effort interruption number 2. Let's see if we can get through this video without any more. And yeah, just really kind of find, I don't know, the surface and the mixtures, formulas of paints that really make me happy. So all this like mixing rainbow action that's going on the canvas, I love this. It makes me super happy. The version that I'm creating here is just like a bigger version of one of the pages in my logbook, where I just, you know, keep a reference book for all of my color stories and color mixtures and all that. And I just loved almost every single color on that page. And so I thought, okay, what if I make a larger version of it? So as I said, I haven't painted a lot of abstract paintings that I've actually loved. And I would definitely want to explore that because I love abstract art from other artists, and I just need to figure out how to make it my own and what I want to do with it. So it is exciting, and just something that I've been playing with is to, I'm not sure I want to do like a Patreon thing because it's just like another platform, but YouTube has now possibilities of, you know, like creating like a membership option. That, you know, if you pay for it, then you get all kinds of like perks and probably extra content. And I just feel like I don't know if I'm right now at a place where I want to make a course. I feel more like I just want to play with different materials and try different things. And I would love to do this with you, some of you, those of you who are also interested in, you know, just like being brave. But what can I say? I need the money to do this, and paper costs money, paint costs money. And of course, if I want to paint bigger, then that increases all of the expenses. But I really feel that I'm at the point where it's kind of the next step. And I just have to bite the bullet and just accept the fact that if I want to do this the way that I want to do this, the way that artistically I feel like I should be doing it, it's just going to cost more. And, you know, being able to share that with you on some sort of like a paid platform is just kind of a win-win situation. But because it's more of a, I'm exploring things, then to me, it's not something I would share as a course, because when I create courses, I want it to be like, this is the topic that I want to teach you or show you how I do it. And this is more of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to explore and try different things. So I don't know. I'm playing around with that in my head. Probably I'll just I'll just buy the stuff and see how it goes. But yeah, ideally, you know, I would like to make artwork that excites me, and it just takes a lot of practice, and you can't think of everything in your head and execute, you know, 1% of all your thoughts. You have to do this, and because of the nature of the medium, with a piece of canvas, you can paint over it over and over again. You can cover it in white gesso and start over. You can't do that with watercolor paper. So yeah, I'm still not sure. I'll probably buy like large sheets to paint on, but I also need larger brushes, because I think if I want to focus in this area of color and these big swatches, I just want to see how it looks, you know, bigger. And I think that could be really, really fun. As far as the paint goes, I might try to pick up some of the, what are they called? There's this liquid paint. Of course, the name escapes me right now. I'll put it on the screen, but they're very, very inexpensive. I think some of them are not light fast, so I have to check that. And I'm not sure if they're pigment-based or dye-based. Ecoline. Ecoline is what I'm talking about. So they come in these cute little glass jars, but at my art store you can also buy big bottles of them. And I'm thinking that would be a really good affordable way of experimenting with a lot of paint. And, you know, just play with the alchemy of it, with the color mixtures, adding some granulation medium and just seeing what happens, which is a little bit harder when you have like tiny tubes of paint. And even though watercolor does go a long way, it's still, you know, if you want to paint big, you're just going to need more paint. There's no getting around it. So I might grab a few of the big bottles there of Ecoline. I always had this dream, I think right when I started painting in watercolors years ago, I would walk past those bottles of, you know, liquid watercolors, and I would think, I hope that someday I would work on something big enough that I would need so much paint. And I think maybe that day is here. I have to look at what they're using, at what pigments they're using. But, you know, I can still use, especially for experiments, there are a lot of colors that I love that I can find in a reasonable price. For example, you know, like French ultramarine is a very granulating blue. It's gorgeous. It does beautiful things. I can buy the Rembrandt version is, you know, reasonably priced. Van Gogh has a very affordable paint. I should try. I can't remember what I thought about their French ultramarine. And I'm in Europe, so European brands make most sense for me. I have to check Lucas because they're very affordable. So I think I just have to kind of scale up on everything and yeah, and play around with that, because at the end of the day, as much as I love painting things like florals and also those beach scenes lately, I really enjoyed that. I really think my kind of fascination is found in the paint and the brush strokes and the pencil lines and texture and all those things. Yeah, the granulation of watercolors, how they behave with the paper, how the paper influences them. Creating all these shades, kind of finding those perfect colors. I think that is the main interest for me at the moment. So I should go with that, you know, follow my heart and all of that. Let's talk for just a bit about the products that I'm using. The brush is, of course, the Tracy Lebenzon brush. If you want one, I've talked about these numerous times in the past, and I will continue to talk about them because I love them and use them probably every single time I sit down and paint. And especially I want to mention it because August is the last month where you can get a 20% off discount using my name, Irit, I-R-I-T. There's a link below to Tracy's website. And come September, that discount will be only 10%. So if you want one of these brushes, grab them. He has a wide selection of brushes. I will leave you below the details of the one I'm using here, which is my favorite. And yeah, he has a lifetime warranty, so he believes in his product. And after heavily using it, I think they're just, yeah, I think they're lovely. And I definitely feel like they kind of enhanced my experience, and not just my experience, but I would say also the results. If you enjoy, like, you know, expressive gestural brush strokes, yeah, they perform. What can I tell you? So that's the brush. The paper is, I think, something that is not made anymore. I want to say it's Andalusia from Hahnemuehle. I kind of have the same experience with their kind of thick, cold pressed papers that are actually cellulose. I love them, and they're kind of my go-to these days. They show granulation beautifully, and there's just a joy to paint on with mixed media. So I'm using this. This is the largest pad that I have, and yeah, I should just pick up a few more and not be so precious about them. The pencils are just a mixture of brands. This one in particular is the Museum Aquarelle from Caran. They are glorious, super fun to sketch with. And this is a watercolor pencil. I actually tend to use mostly kind of wax or oil pencils that don't react with the watercolor, but sometimes I also enjoy to see what kind of effects I can get. The colors, let's talk about the colors. So my yellow is Daniel Smith Nickel Azo Yellow. I've actually been more into quinacridone gold recently. I use the Core brand, and yeah, I just didn't have it in my palette, so I used the Nickel Azo Yellow, but I've also loved Nickel Azo Yellow. It's a good yellow. So you can see it's I would say like more earthy and perfect for florals in my opinion. So that's my yellow. Then the first mixture I made, the far you know, side of the screen, far area of the screen. That's mixed with cobalt teal or turquoise. It depends on the brand. I think currently I have, I don't know, either Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal Blue or Lucas Cobalt Turquoise, which they both look kind of the same. I haven't met a cobalt teal I did not love. It just depends on the brand. Usually the pigment is PG50, so that's what you want to look for. And what else do we have? The blue is French Ultramarine from Rembrandt, which is my favorite at the moment. It granulates beautifully. They have large 20 ml tubes, and the price is right here in Europe. That pink, that hot pink, is Carmine from Van Gogh. I have a thing with pinks. Usually I go for Bright Rose from Holbein, which is a lot more bluish than Carmine, but today I was in the Carmine mood and I really like all the nice corally oranges that it gives with Nickel Azo Yellow. So that's what I'm using here. Very, very affordable color, beautiful, vibrant, warm pink. And then now it's off screen, of course, Daniel Smith Moon Glow. Yeah, I know it's problematic with the light fastness, but I haven't yet found an alternative that I like. So for now, I'm sticking with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my current palette. I do need to add quinacridone gold, and these are some of my pastels, which I love. And that's my little sketch, and I hope you can see those color mixtures, that granulation, how it reacts with the paper. It's just beautiful. It makes me so happy. And that's what I wanted to do today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired to go and paint something that makes you happy. I'll see you soon in another video. Take care. Bye bye.